Part of the socializing work in my mind is also making animals more socialized to different settings and different objects. So basically, I want novelty to be something the cat is curious about. I don't want novelty to be something to fear anymore. So in the cage, this is me adding a self-groomer. In the cage, I had cat grass, different surfaces, a cushion, cardboard scratchers, playthings. I had a little paint roller she could rub on to keep her smell, shelves, different types of bedding. So I tried to make the environment as enriching as possible. I used catnip, I used dog training scents. I actually have a clipboard with an erasable marker of things that are enriching that I could at least rotate the toys also so that it would be more interesting. And that's both in her room once she was out and in her cage. Once she was out, I tried to change one thing every day in her environment. Different towels, tunnels made of cardboard, boxes, plastic, cardboard. I had a dog bed we're going to see a bit later on that I removed the inside cushion. It was like a big donut. This is a bed. I want them to get used to different types of surfaces. This was a house cat. Maybe that's not as important, but in one house you don't have all the things you have in another. So looking outside, out the window, I think it's very important, very enriching. The smells are different, the sounds, the sights, the birds. If a cat has never had an access to a window, it can be scary. Once she found, when I was letting her out of the room, she found the access points to my vertical cat playground. And although she was a bit overweight and didn't have front claws, I didn't discourage her from going there. I didn't want this to be a bad experience. I let her be a cat and tried to stay close in case she fell. This is her exploring the bathroom. I think the floor was a bit challenging for her. So just listening also to a dryer, a washer, all sorts of things that maybe she had, maybe she didn't in her first 4 years of life. This is her exploring the first floor for the first time. You'll notice her tail does big swooshy movements. She's not very comfortable. It's a new environment. She doesn't know it. She doesn't know where the hiding spots are, where the perches are. Lots of new surfaces, new things to perch on. So she's curious, like pretty much all cats. She's very curious, but this is like, you always need to think of trigger stacking. This is a new environment. If there's a stranger in that new environment, that's even more scary. And if something startles you, it's scarier. This is an example of R minus. Waiting for her to give me something better. And I'm gonna go move away. So this is the first time she's on the first floor. My house is terribly small. The back wall is like 2 meters behind the camera. And I'm doing supper, and I saw her perching there, and I thought if I move closer, I'm gonna go do it again right here, and then she doesn't mind me at all, so I go away. This is another example, me going up the stairs. And now that she's giving me better behavior, lip licking and all that, I'm going to try to throw treats as well as move away. But these are very simple examples, okay? Most people will go, no, 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 don't do that. I'm not going to do that. You just told me this is a bit too much. You're coming near me. I know you. I kind of trust you. But, you know, this is the first time I'm in this new environment and this is a bit too much. So I stop in my tracks, throw calming signals. When she answers back, I go, okay, I'll move away. And you saw it when she was on the first floor, second try, no problem. So yes, this is R minus, but it's a very healthy conversation to have. And I could have thrown a treat if I had one too. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna, you know, make contingent on me moving away, having better behavior. But I mean, I can use a treat too. The only time I discouraged her was what you just saw, because she wanted to try to, you know, go up the tree, but she doesn't have claws. You're gonna see also here she's overweight and she can't put her claws in the cylinder. So she's gonna go way over and go to the shelf. So that's really sad. Poor kitties who don't have claws, but I let her explore. This is the first time out of my home. This is with someone who lives near, and it's an adoption trial that didn't pan out, but I learned loads from about adopter preparation. And Lily learned that for 24 hours she was in a new environment and nothing terrible happened. This guy really did well in the part of not threatening her or getting in conflict. I really explained well that she was afraid. It wasn't worth it to just go no, 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 because it would just confirm to her that he was to be feared. So really didn't do that. But she did at that point, was her first time outside my house, and this was a bit much for her. And after 24 hours, of course, she hid, but this was a bit more than he was expecting. But it was a really, really great opportunity for her to discover a new place where I wasn't. And when I went and she heard me, she was like, okay, everything's fine. This is a second place outside my house. I work with my dad. And she was there for 6 hours, so new place. It's just the both of us, so it's really not a big office. But she discovered a big house, and there was a human that was kind of a stranger. You see the big candy cane tail here, so this is a new place, but I'm so curious and interested because more and more she finds that Novelty is interesting. This is me, so she's rubbing on me. But there we have an example of trigger stacking, new place, and a kind of a stranger. This stranger is actually stranger number 2 or 3. She's eating quickly, so wonderful for a new space. But this was stranger 2 or 3 in my generalization video, of whom she was quite afraid. This is me coming back to my office because I closed the door initially. I didn't want her to have too big of an environment because this would have been overwhelming. Of course, she perched on every single thing. But it went really well, and I really feel that those 2 times when she was with her potential adopter and then when she was at the office were instrumental in making her more comfortable in new places, which she probably never had been. This cat probably got adopted at 8 weeks of age, was sterilized and declawed, and then spent 4 years with the same person who didn't have many visitors. So new places were scary, but she's a very curious cat and interested. This is my dad coming into the room, and she's not sure, she's staring. When I asked him to do blinking and all that, her pupils undilated a bit, and it was nice to see, but her whiskers are very fanning out, and her tail is really down. But she's still a bit curious. She's not sure, but she's curious, so that's not too bad. And she's not charging, she's not yelling, she's not charging. This is, again, my dad. I'm unsure. I'm gonna blink and be polite and move away. Excellent choice. I want to reward that. I didn't have kibble at that single time, but whoops, suddenly she decides, well, the guy seems nice. I'm gonna do a candy cane tail and go see him. Oh, and he's left the door open so I could escape and go explore. He's really nice. Her tail is by definition puffy, but I feel it's a bit puffier right now. I think she got a bit scared when he came in, but she decides to go and rub on him, so that's like very good, and so I tell him, when you can actually try to pet her, maybe she will want to, but she's actually really wanting to go explore further because it looks so interesting, and she's more annoyed at me than she is at him right now, I think. So this is like stranger in new place, and well, we're gonna rub on him. He's polite. He didn't push me, tried to come too close or anything, and he offered a hand and didn't try to pet me like crazy. So this is very good. Lots of petting. Lily's happy. Wonderful. This is my dad who's like, oh, we should let her out. She wants to explore. And he's asking me if he can, and he doesn't know I'm filming because, I see he's opening it anyway. But I tell him basically, if she charges you, don't be mean to her and don't hate me for it. I've warned you. And you see the tail going way down. Oh, we see kind of a candy cane tail, but usually when they explore new places and find it scary, their tail goes down. She's gonna see my dad. She's gonna hiss. Oh, actually, yeah. She's gonna do a first move, and I want to reinforce that with a treat, but before I can, she's gonna hiss at him. Telling him, well, maybe this is a bit too much, I'm not sure. But then she decides, well, I don't know, maybe. He seems kind of nice. He pet me earlier today. The tail movements are not like I'm comfortable completely, but they're relatively nice. And what did she choose? She chose to come back to the room where she feels safe. She didn't charge anyone. She didn't yell at anyone. She did one hiss and that's it. She comes back. I'm gonna reinforce that. You're gonna get treats because you chose so well, and you're gonna get petted if that's what you want. I chose to move towards my dad. I don't like luring, so I don't like fully having done that, but I'm not right next to him. She can choose, and she could very well choose to stay in the room, but she chooses to exhibit a nice candy cane tail, come rub on me, and I'm gonna give treats to my dad too, so he can give some to her, because she looks like she's interested in going to see him. And one thing is I always put the treats on the floor. They're never in my hand. So this is something I actually have to I had to taught my people participating in these generalization. It's usually much less stressful for a cat to eat on the floor than in someone's hand. But here she just like, well, I'm gonna get petted. I'm gonna rub on you. You're so nice. No problem. I don't want a treat. I want to be rubbed and petted. That's so wonderful. So this is second time out of the house, new place, new people. She's learning new places and new people, and both of them at the same time together are all nice. It's really cool. And as I said, I think that this was instrumental in making her better able to cope with the fact that, oh, I'm adopted, I'm in a new house with new people that I don't know, and it's scary. So this is a little walk of I'm declawed and I walk a bit funny, which makes her cute. Poor kitty. And this is her at the office, look at the birds. And this is her next to my keyboard, and a week before I never would have been comfortable with her so near my hand while I was keyboarding all day. So this was really a great day. This is her playing in paper. Play, I feel, is so important. Cats are wired genetically to be hunting 24/7. They don't wait to be hungry to be hunting. And so that's why they are always willing to play. And so if you know to play well and you don't wiggle the toy in their face, they come to really love play. And it's something that's very powerful because you're counter conditioning them to associating you with play, and that's really great. The other thing is, when they exhibit a behavior they're born to be exhibiting all the time, it makes them feel good. I'm sure it releases some endorphins or something like that. And of course it makes them move, and when we're overweight, that's always a good thing. But anyway, it's always a good thing, moving. It's always also something that's really cute when you want that cat to be adopted. If you have video clips of her playing like crazy with stuff, it makes her very lovable. And now she's all excited and she's gonna go hide in that box, even though it's a tiny box for her. I really love the Daubert toys. These are all Daubert. The first one is the feather one, and you can buy an attachment that's like a mouse. We saw it earlier in the clips. This is the one, a different one that's like a big bee, let's say, or a bumblebee, and she really loved the bumblebee. So choose toys well, but seriously, we have a dollar store here that sells some that's like a boa with a little ball that has a ling-a-ling-a-ling thing inside it, and it's really popular, so that's good. And play also leads to crazy cat minutes. So we all love that. So that makes you think, well, that cat is getting better. This is catnip in a towel. Boy, did she went crazy for catnip in a towel. Made her like completely woohoo! And in a towel, it's kind of hidden a bit, so it's like extra enticing. My own cats were like, what's the lady doing? Like, what's going on? But she seemed to really have fun, so that was good. Things that they're afraid of. It's never a good thing to just shove them in their face. Here she's afraid of my shoes, which are usually like underneath the chair, and now they're not. And I'm just like, what did you see? My white cat, whom she doesn't really like, is right at the top of the stairs. You're gonna see him, and that's why I go and fetch them and put them farther away, and I kind of throw them, which is not perfect, but I'm gonna try to put them farther away from the white cat, who's annoying, because I don't want also trigger stacking. A new thing plus the cat plus whatever, now they're farther away from the white cat, but I didn't throw them in their face either. She decides to come and see them. Oh, okay, they're just shoes. Fine. But you want to encourage looking at new stuff, but you don't want to make it scary. Food puzzles. This is the little ball that you can roll around, the slim cat. Things that needed her to use her paws weren't as successful probably because she was declawed. But things that she could roll around with her nose were quite good, so it's much less boring to have a food puzzle than to just eat out of your bowl. That's kibble in a towel. So foraging, always be aware of whisker stress, but sometimes I would put it in a towel and she would forage in her towel. So another thing that's interesting. There's another video on clicker training, but we did target training and mat training and carrier training and give a paw training because, of course, that's very enriching. Social enrichment here, meeting other cats. Middleman is here, does so many curvy movements, pretends to sniff stuff, doesn't fixate on her too much, and goes away, doesn't come too close. He's my best cat for socialization. I realized that he's very weird, but he's so non-confrontational. And so that was really nice. And she would, sometimes look at them and keep playing. And made sure there was a little corner so they wouldn't bug her. And I would always supervise when they were in the presence of one another. This is my cat Miley, who always wants to play with every other cat. And this is a nice nose to nose that the camera caught while I wasn't looking. So that's really nice. And there are many things you can do to ease also the access to other cats. This is a wire mesh for window screen and paper clips, so that it's a slow introduction. This is her with all my cats, and she decided, well, they bug me, I'm gonna go perch. So perches, wonderful. Tunnels, wonderful. Things that they can go around so they don't become too close to one another. You're just reinforcing the fact that everyone is acting politely. And my white cat wasn't always looking politely, so it was really great. The carrier that's at the left, I actually moved at the center so that they could go around and didn't have to pass one another from too close. I worked on this with each cat separately and afterwards with many cats. And the white wasn't always polite, and here is gonna choose to not stare at her. So I'm like, yes, that's good, and she's able to lie down and eat in their presence. So always reinforcing the behavior that you do want. My house is very, very, very small again, so it's not always easy to have a space for them. The five aspects of enrichment are social, so to other people, to other cats. Oh, this is a nice nose to nose. Habitat, so changing things in the habitat. Food, different types of food, but food puzzles also. Cognitive, food puzzles fall in cognitive category. Clicker training falls in that too. And sensory, did I say that? Food, habitat, sensory, social, and cognitive. So sensory is, surfaces to touch and things to smell and to see and all that. And of course, training with my other cats was very, very beneficial because she could see them interacting in the same way with me and playing. This is my very unconfrontational cat, and I made sure not to put the toy in a way that one of them would, jump on the other, but they could play one next to one another, and, they'd wait their turn and it would be fine. So, I feel this is like an okay interaction. She's not freaked out. This isn't a cat that I would have recommended going to a house where there are already other cats, because she didn't feel comfortable when they came very close to her. But it wasn't a cat that was like, oh my god, I ate all other cats. So I think that these sessions were interesting because she did seem to enjoy having cat friends, and she was able to play alongside them. And even, this is Middleman being polite and going, oh, I'm gonna go to the side and move slowly. This is a bit of playing with the paw. Miley loves to play with the paw with other cats in the catio. And I think this is like the best play I got between the both of them. And this is a situation that I didn't mean to happen. And this is a great, like, both of them looked away. Middleman turned the full body turn, and I reinforced that a lot, and you let Lily go. So this is really nice, but sometimes you get in situations and you're like, oh, I'm just messing up, and they surprise you. This is her in your new house. The little blanket is one she had. The box is one she had, and that I gave her adopters. She's perching, she's discovering. She's still curious. Her adopters did really well. They understood when I said put a towel or a chair. It's a hiding spot. It's a tunnel. She said when I went, she said, I actually took a blanket and put it there. I thought she might like a bigger hiding spot. So this is wonderful. Great people. This is a box that's a tunnel in their room, and really wonderful. And this is a clip they sent me of her pawing on cue. So she's doing very well with new things now.
des grands jurons. Alors, détournement de tête, nichette. Je le dis pour la vidéo aussi. Dieu, déjà beaucoup moins rond tout d'un coup. Est-ce que tu me donnes un petit quelque chose? Oh, fallait pas que je parle. T'as reconnu ma voix peut-être, hein? Oui, peut-être t'as reconnu ma voix. Bonjour, je vais m'accroupir. Mais oui, détournement de tête. Cling, cling, cling. Mais bonjour. Ah ça alors, c'est la madame. C'est la madame. C'est la seule qui utilise cette voix bizarre. Comment ça va, grosse ratonne? J'ai une belle queue en point d'interrogation poli. Ah bah, est-ce que c'est chouette? Je savais pas si t'allais me reconnaître. Oui, j'ai dit à Lucas que je m'en venais de voir. Oh, frotte. Et il a dit non, pas la madame chat, elle voulait me voler mes croquettes. Il n'était pas d'accord du tout. Oh, mais est-ce que c'est beau à voir ça? Alors ça, c'est le chat qui avait peur des étrangers. Bon, ok, je suis pas tout à fait une étrangère, là. Une étrangère, mais quand même. Et je vais choisir de m'en aller. Lily! Touche! Oui, tu que t'es bonne. Bah, en fait, je voulais me frotter, mais c'est pas grave. Je crois pas que je t'ai bien filmé, mais c'est pas grave. Est-ce qu'on le fait? Lily? Touche! Oui, bravo! Je suis la meilleure. Je suis la meilleure, je suis au courant.